Yes, we very well could be at the end. I guess we don't know for sure, but I feel like this could be the last one if we give it enough time. So maybe we'll see. But we got to get that Triforce and possibly finish off Skyward Sword. We're gonna do it now. Don't usually do the same game multiple days in a row, but uh, I guess I've done it several times with this one, haven't I? Just because I feel like I'm on a roll sometimes, and then I just want to get on with it. So let's see what we can get done. Last time, which was yesterday, we played Legend of Zelda. What do we do? We feels like we did a lot because it was 4 hours. We got to talk to the last two of the dragons, and we got to assemble the entirety of the Song of the Hero, which granted us the ability to unlock the trial, which in turn gave us some kind of stone, which in turn with that gives us the opportunity to put it somewhere, which again leads to something else. I was playing a little bit on my own time, and I decided I wanted to go get the last of the heart pieces because I knew one was with the dragon, the thunder dragon, for the trial. So I went and did that, and then I saw that the other one was... Oh shoot, I wanted to show this. The other one was with that damn clown. The stupid clown that was... He had the fun zone or something like that. I don't remember specifically what it was called. But basically, Link gets shot up into a cannon, or from a cannon, and then he has to pass through rings on the way down and land on a gimmick. And it was kind of hard to actually get done, but I did it. And I just wanted to point out that pained expression on Mr. Clown Man, right there, because he knew that the odds were impossible, but I still overcame them. You have to pass... It's a weird game. You have to pass through flying rings. You have to pass through 5 of them. And then you have to land on one space out of like 25 possibilities on a revolving board, similar to the one that's on his back. And not hit any obstacles on the way down. And it took me a few tries. I tried it once. I got a little money. You have to pay for it. And then I tried it a couple times, and then I was out of rupees. And then I'm like, screw this. So I said, I'll just reload the game. And I reloaded the game, and I got it on the first try after the reload. So it was almost like getting away with highway robbery. But I got that heart piece, and I got a small package of rupees, some 600 or something like that. I also ended up doing the boss rush up to, I think it was 4 or 5 bosses, and got the other heart piece. So now I've almost got full heart containers, but we're missing 2. And like I said, I don't think there's any more pieces. I'm pretty sure there aren't, because I've been pretty thorough with it, and I feel like I would have had like a mixed number of heart containers, like, maybe one, or heart pieces rather, maybe like 1 or 2 after I finished that one. But I haven't, and so I'm guessing that they are related to heart medals, which I've got 1 equipped. I don't know that I want to give up any of my other stuff, like maybe the potion medal, but I don't know if I want to give up any of my other slots for a heart medal, so I'm just saying, forget it. I'm not going to go looking for it, or them, and we're going to move on. Anyway, I was passing by here. I noticed that this thing had the socket missing. So I'm like, oh, that's where you have to plant it. I was thinking it had to go into the goddess statue, but that's this bird, so we shall see what it will do. Very nice. Okay. I don't know why it's got the skip thing out there. I don't want to skip that. A little bit of castle in the sky. Very interesting. A report, Master Link. My calculations indicate an 85% chance that the structure you uncovered houses the Triforce. Right under our noses the whole time. Given this development, I project that the moment for Zelda to fulfill her destiny and bring an end to Demise is close at hand. Maybe we are close to the end here. So hold up, I just realized. Oh, my chance is not up. And I don't know why. I guess I will relaunch. Okay, well, obviously, we need to work our way in here. I am pretty much prepped to go. I wasn't necessarily doing prep work, oh, that's weird. Prior to the stream, I was mostly just working on getting the last of the heart pieces, but I've had, I think, what would be my final loadout ready for, I don't know, quite a while now, so I'm fine with just getting into it. And I bet you it's going to be a dungeon. Probably the worst of the bunch, too. Sky Keep. Make a little save, I guess, even though we haven't done that much, but why not? A little presumptuous, Link. Dungeon map. That was quick. Okay. Oh, look. We have to get Triforce pieces, but it seems like they're all in the same dungeon. Master, I have information to report. I've detected 3 sources of sacred power within this building. This power clearly radiates from the Triforce. I've triangulated the 3 sources of power and marked them on your map as triangles. The last worst dungeon, probably. I would not be surprised. Let's just put it that way. Oh, I see. Okay, these are rooms. And I guess the middle one is always going to be stationary. Maybe I shouldn't mess around with it too much. Let's, hold on. How was it? Was it like that? Why don't we look at the first couple of rooms and see what happens? Master, I have new information for you. Analysis indicates that the shaking you just felt now was caused by a change in the building structure. Now that the building structure has been altered, it appears you can enter the adjacent room. I propose you use this control panel to move through the structure and collect the components of the Triforce. Well, let's see what we can get. Mushrooms, eh? Wait a sec. Something going on over here. That's what it was. So I'm moving my mic a sec. Woo! It's a hell of a backswing. Oh, I guess because he was hitting up on the thing. Oh, Jesus. I did not know that was going to come. Well, nothing but death down there. Okay, let's see. What are those? Wait. Something in those holes, I just don't know what it is. Oh, I see. Yes, that would be a problem. I don't know if I could snag these off of here. Oh, cool, I can. That took care of all of them? Missing one. Also, this has the style and the music of the very first dungeon at Fair and Woods. So I guess what's likely to happen is that we can we ascend on this thing? Yes, we can. Okay. We're probably gonna get a little taste of every dungeon that we've done so far. Oh, shoot. I just wanted to back up a little bit. I don't want to jump off. God damn it. We gotta do all of it. All the techniques. Slowly make your way to the edge. Don't run off. What should I ask for? Arrows, bombs. I don't know if there's one for seeds. I should just do rupees again. I don't know that there's anything I need to buy though either, so there's that aspect to it, but yeah, it's a little weird, but it still worked. Hey, a silver one. That's worth quite a bit. 100 rupees. The gods are feeling generous. Okay. So let's lead back to the other path. I noticed that it continued on, but then, you know, the allure of the trees and all the enemies in the other direction. Just couldn't resist going that way. Let's see what's in the next one. I'm wondering if... Well, we might have to... Okay, look at that. We're in the Nehru region. We might have to keep going back to that other room to change up the dungeon. Those doors are going to be locked regardless. Come on. That doesn't work. Well, that gets rid of something. Oh, I see. There we go. What the? Oh, look at that. There's another panel changer. Okay, let's see what... Never mind. Maybe that calls this back. Link, come on. It's not what I wanted. Waiting for these goddamn overhead strikes, and I just want to slash from underneath. Put that away. Looks like it's funny when they die outside of the time barrier. Nothing for me, huh? What's up, Diller? Oh boy. Alright, so we're working on the last dungeon here. This might be the last stream of this game, so we'll see how it goes, but as I said before, this might be the worst dungeon of them all. Probably. I might be able to get it over to the other side, but I would assume that I would have to be on this thing. Somehow I don't think... Okay, let's try this. I can move it past it. The thing about this is I don't see how that's supposed to help me. I got... Oh, look at that. There's some kind of switch up there. Did I get 2 hearts? No, I don't remember. I filled up 1 heart container. Maybe since the last time we commented on it, which I think was a couple streams ago. But yeah, I ended up getting a couple of the heart containers by searching for heart pieces. It was not due to the fact, like I think we were hypothesizing whether it was going to be because of additional dungeons. It was not due to additional dungeons and additional bosses. It was from heart pieces and then the heart medals. I made a comment on this at the beginning of the stream, but I have a feeling like the remaining 2 hearts are heart medals, which I don't really want to swap out for anything, because I'm pretty much stocked and loaded here with what I want, and I'd have to sacrifice an item if I wanted to get an additional heart container rather, for the life medal. So it is what it is. I'm fine. I know, yeah. Pure sex. Finally got the Hylian shield, I think, during the last stream. We had to do a boss rush in order to get it. 8 bosses. Was really something. Let's see. I don't know what that does. It probably doesn't do anything. Oh, hey, I think it moves it back. Let's see if that changes the conveyor position. Yeah, it does, okay. Get your ass in there. Come on. Okay, so what was the point of all this? Oh, up at the top. Shoot. Okay. Well, damn. Now I see the switches. Alright. We gotta do some fast shooting. Fortunately, the conveyor is pretty slow, so I don't think it's gonna be much of a problem. Oh no, I missed one. Other way. But yeah, if I even made the comment that, you know, this is the final trial and that the Triforce is in here and, you know, the time for Zelda to fulfill her destiny is at hand and whatnot, so we have confirmation from the game itself that this is going to be the last little bit we have. So the only thing is that we need to get through the dungeon, of course, but then I think after that, we're probably going to have a couple bosses. Maybe we'll even fight the Imprisoned one more time. Who can say? And then we'll be on to our next little bits here. So I don't know what's going on here. Did we look at that before? Okay, so that takes that down. Oh, okay. This is just the beginning spot. So far it seems like the rooms have like little quick exits that we can do. Let's change the environment mechanic, flip switches and stuff is what really pissed you off more than anything. Seems kind of typical in Zelda for me. I don't know. As far as like puzzles go, this is kind of like Zelda bread and butter, but I can see where it gets a little frustrating. Okay, so the question is, how do we want to approach this? It looks like this is... Alright, now we can move the bottom piece. Oh, excuse me. I'm not a fan of slide puzzles. I'm not a fan of side puddles either. Wait, what are we in now? Are we in this one? So the one that's not moving is the one that we're in. I need... No, wait. Oh, shoot. Yeah, it really sucks when you can't move one of the pieces. Just get one side, then move on to the other 6. That's what I want to do. Maybe... I'm going about this wrong. I wanted to continue on from up here, but maybe backtracking would be the thing. The only thing is I can't move this one out with this piece here. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. Which sucks, because that's the one I would like to move the most. You know what? Okay. I'm going to settle for 2 rooms we can access. We'll see what we can get in there. And then maybe there'll be another control panel somewhere else so we can move things around. But we need to go back, so... Switches and gears and time shifts, no problem. When it comes to slide puzzles, though, not really my thing. We'll see how this goes for... No, I don't want that. Come on. I'm trying to run here. We'll see how this goes, though. I should have a couple new rooms to access at the very least, so... If I get lucky, maybe the one in the middle will have something we can use to change the environment around. Okay, so now we have a dungeon that looks like the Elden volcano dungeon. Evidently, we're going to be looking for some magma holes. Gotta take a quick detour to the Mushroom Kingdom. Oh, I see. That way is blocked. Interesting concept for a final dungeon, though. Just like combine all the aspects of the previous dungeons that you've been through. I didn't think that was going to go all the way. Rolling for a strike. Whoa. Ah! Look at that. Jelly blob. Oh, I see. Simple enough. I guess we'll be coming back down here at some point. Overall, I mean, I guess the mechanics of the dungeon is probably what's going to probably take the longest to figure out, but, you know, 12 rooms isn't that bad. Or is it even 12? I think it might be 11 because there's a space, obviously, that's missing so that we can get the rest of this stuff in. Get in there. That did... what? Seek the gemstones that sleep behind each statue. If you strike them in order from lowest to highest, the door will open. Oh. Damn. Alrighty then. Let's see... There aren't a whole lot of statues to speak of. Do I have to roll down here, or do I have to roll a bomb down here? out so great. Okay. I think I have to roll a bomb down. It's like playing skee ball. Hey! Not bad. I don't know how many diamonds that is. Thank you, that was a good toss. Alright. Let's fly the bug out. Let's see what we can see. Alright, there's a way to get up there via vines. I don't know if that means I can travel down here. Probably, yeah. One would assume. There we go. Nice. Okay, let's give this a try. Oh, shoot. I thought there was a way to slow it down. I guess we can only speed up. It slows down naturally when it has something. Well, I don't know how many diamonds each one has, but we give it a try this way. Alright, they all reset, so... Was it least to greatest then? We'll try at least to greatest. Which I think means this, the middle one, and then the last one. Mixed up. One in the middle's got more. That's how it looks. There also could be another statue somewhere, I suppose. I hope not, but... No, that's a bad angle. I'll have to wrap around for that one. Okay, I better just go read the damn sign. Gemstones sleep behind each statue. If you strike them in order from lowest to highest, the door will open. Did I not do that? Maybe there's another one somewhere. Hold on. Oh, look. There's another place where we can change the structure. Maybe this one has the least. Take a better look at it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like that's 5. I can't tell if one pops up in the back or not, though. Just look and see. Is this even what they're talking about? Like, how many are here? 2, 4, 6. 6 on that one. Six on that one, too. Maybe they mean height. They must mean height. I thought these had a different number of gems. I think they do. See. There we go. Okay. No. Put that away. Okay, so now we can open up the gate on the other side. I don't know what's over there. It looks like a lot of bones, but maybe something cool will pop up. Oh, shoot. Hit it a couple times. I wonder if I need to destroy that upper rock. Oh, you know what I do? Oh, shit. Well, plenty of time. Still had me a little nervous about it, though. I still need to destroy the other rock, though, I think. Maybe not. I was gonna say if I need to get through to the other side, but I think it's open regardless. It's fine. Okay, what do we have here? Skulls. Ah, and another hole. Really? Forced battle with this thing? 2 of them, in fact. Come down here. Oh, shit. Usually they get into a rage. That's what I was looking for, but ended up hitting me regardless. These things usually stop to take a look around, too. He went down every other time. I was kind of counting on that to happen again. Oh, come on, Link. See, what you gotta do is you just gotta flip up your body. That way you can turn around. Just go from leaning on your belly to laying on your back. Always one step behind. Centipedes are a pain in the ass, man. I don't really like fighting these things. Usually they give you the option to like choose to fight them or not. There we go, finally. But considering the fact that they have like these little things in place, he lose an ass load of stamina. Shit. Ah! You either have to make them run into a wall or you have to wait for them to like look around. Sometimes they'll come at like a crossroads and then they'll look back and forth like that. And that's like your two opportunities to actually strike them. But actually getting them to that point is rough. And then you have to watch, you know, where Link is facing, because sometimes he won't be facing in the right direction. There we go. It's a pain. Alright, well, I noticed... Yeah, you can't turn around unless you come to, like, a cross. Like here, I could turn around and then I could make a quick turn like that if I wanted to turn back around, but it's like you have to reach a crossroads if you wanted to turn. There was at least 2 occasions in that battle where I would have had it, but I was facing the wrong direction, so... Kitty corner, I believe, is how they say it. Okay. Hold up. Link, please. Link. Hit the goddamn wall. And pull the switch. Okay, so we're back in place of the middle point here. I could definitely move around one of those Triforce pieces. I'm gonna take a look in this room and see what there is, and then maybe we can come back and see if we can net something. Speaking of netting, come down here. There we go. Let it fly off, but I want it to heal me. There we go. And this is... Oh, this is the entrance. Shoot, okay. I was like, this sounds different. I don't know if it's one of the previous dungeons. Alright, so we're gonna have to move that room regardless. Let's see what we can do. had like a connecting piece there. We can get one of the Triforce pieces, at least. Why don't we just opt for that? You had a fairy fly off in your last stream. You were at very low health. Yeah, that sucks. Always when you need it. Ah, the zombie dungeon. Okay. Which I even forgot where this one was. I need a key here, too. Master, look over that way. Yeah. The design carved into the floor there is the mark of furore. I detect the sacred power of the Triforce emanating from its vicinity. To reach the area where that mark is located, I propose you pass through the door in front of you. Thanks, Fi. Don't know what I would do without you. Ah, shit. We have to find a key somewhere else. Unless it's down in here somewhere, like that one we found near the dragon. The thunder dragon. Doesn't really look like it, though. I don't think there's anything down there. Pain in my ass. Alright, we need another room. There's no replenish? Okay. Okay, we know that this one's the entrance. This one... Let's see, maybe I can move this. Or, what is this? Let's see what that does. Okay, so that's... alright. That's the one with the locked door, but then we get this room, which may or may not have anything. Actually, hold on. This room down here is something we haven't explored yet. Damn, I need a way to... Is that even going to be possible? I don't know. I think because of the positioning, it's not going to work that way. Shoot. Oh, fine. Bird statue. Okay, at least we'll get to see what's in there, maybe. Although, it might not make a difference, because we need something with... We need this room. Pain in my ass. Okay, we need to... We need to find out how to get to that room. I need to find a room that's got... actually, you know what? There might be a mover in this one up here. That would be a hell of a lot easier if we could do it from the middle one. If I could somehow get... Yes, no, it's this one. Okay, so we could totally do this. Provided that everything stayed the same. Yes, okay, cool. We're good. Okay, not bad. I just need to move these around until we can get this guy up into the middle there. I could probably just keep it here, too. I guess except for a couple of these that's got the Triforce pieces down at the bottom there, but... Nice. Which one got locked? Okay, this is the one with the chest. This is the one we need. Is that the pirate guy? He's back and he has a crown. What? Kind of far back, don't you think? Doing so hot now, huh? Oh. Reading up on that Zelda Twilight Princess 2. I'll read that in a sec. Oh, Link, come on. Keep the shield up. Alright, let me read that. Scrap project, some ideas for actually ended up in this. Oh. That's not surprising, considering, you know, you don't always make a game from scratch like that, so... I would assume that some of it would have carried over. I just don't know what specifically. I do remember hearing that they implemented some ideas from that into future games. I just wasn't sure which ones they actually got into. God damn. Did it say specifically what carried over from the proposed Twilight Princess 2 and the Skyward Sword? Alright, that's probably our key. At least I hope it is. All that for a small key, but it's probably the only one that's actually in here. Let's see. Where does this even go? Just another section of this place? Oh, okay. We can move around the spots from here, though I don't know if I want to. Well, if I go back to the middle room, I could definitely change it to where I can get this one. But then obviously, it's not going to work for all of them. In fact, it's not going to work for most of them because we're going to need a horizontal entry at some point. So I guess we'll just work it out. I'm wondering if I... Well, you know what? I'm just gonna go back. Well, let me see. Because there might be like a fairy or grass or something around here. I guess not. Didn't go into specifics, kind of vague. I guess I'm not surprised. Nintendo keeps a tight lip about the development of their video games, even after they've already come out, so... That's not surprising that there wasn't like a hell of a lot that's been disclosed. There is a heart plant over here. So at least I could get 3. It could have been. You never know what they were planning. The thing is that Twilight Princess was designed as a controller game, you know, a standard gamepad controller game, and then the motion controls were sort of tacked on, but, you know, when they were coming up with ideas for a sequel to Twilight Princess, it very well could have been like, you know, we want to jump on the full ball with this, you know, get onto the motion controls completely. design it from the ground up as opposed to just have it tacked on, so. That might have been a big part of it, like you said. Oh, wait, you know what? Hold up. You can actually connect it to that other one, too. So maybe I could get 2 Triforce pieces for one little deal. Let's see what happens. I'm going the right way, right? I'm going the wrong way. Still gotta go up. From what I remember, when it came to proposing something for Twilight Princess 2, they were going to have a heavier emphasis on the Twilight world. So, as opposed to having like these sky islands and everything like that, the setting, I'm sure, entirely changed when it came to doing this one, but they were going to have more emphasis on that particular world. To pick up that crossbow training? might as well. Hell, if it's $5, give it a try. I mean, you know, like I said, it's obviously not a real Zelda game, but it's a fun little experiment, I suppose, with just the zapper? Is that what they called it? Was it the zapper, or was that the thing for the NES? No, I forget. Oh, God. Not what I wanted. God damn, these Stalfos are quick. I would assume so, because it was kind of built around that. In fact, I remember seeing that game at stores and it was packaged with the zapper holder. But, I mean, when you think about it, all it does is create like a housing for the nunchuck and the Wiimote. So, you could probably play it. Oh, God. Archers in this part are the worst thing. And I keep getting, like, confronted by these Stalfos. Ultra Stalfos. And zombies. Alright, cool. those other arms out. Come on. Oh, God. It's going for them underhanded strikes. Come on. Probably better to use a shield in those instances. Thanks, fairy. Alright, 2 gauntlets for 1 Triforce. Maybe. Master Link, you have reached the mark. Offer your sword to it. If you do this, I calculate a high probability that you will be shown the way to part of the Triforce. Shown the way? Why can't I get it here? Don't put it away. What are you doing? There we go. Okay, now it is here. Shown the way. Make me worry about that. You got the Triforce of Courage, created by the old gods. The Triforce possesses ultimate power and is said to grant the wishes of whoever possesses it. Just 2 more pieces to go. Ain't it always the case? Can't ever get anything as a complete set. Alright. So, like I said, we should be connected to, yeah, the other room here. Let's see what we can get. Master, look over that way. The symbol visible on the floor here is the Mark of Din. I detect the sacred power of the Triforce emanating from its vicinity. Unfortunately, there seems to be no way to reach the mark from your current position. I recommend you find another entrance into this chamber. Oh shoot, we gotta do it from the other side. At least see what we can get here. Yeah, collect them all. Oh, that was the way back. Alright, well, alright. I guess I'll just take her word for it. So, we need to get it from the other end. Alright, fine. I guess it's going to end the tenure of this one being in the middle then, because we got to get to a point where we could rearrange these in a different fashion. So, let's go back a couple rooms and see what we can cook up. Oh, wait a minute. I think I did that last time, but we could just come in through here. We need to go back one more. This should be the Elden Room, I think, which also had a panel. I just don't know how we're going to be able to rearrange everything. Okay, so I need... Shoot. I need this one there. That's the only way I'm going to get to it. Oh, boy. That ought to work, right? Oh, wait, no. Again, I need to get it from the other angle. Might be able to get this one. Let me see how that works. Access that one from 2 different locations, so if one doesn't work, then we can try on the other one. Okay, what do we got? Master, look over that way. Mark of Nehru? I've identified the design on the floor there as the Mark of Nehru. I detect the sacred power of the Triforce radiating from it. Unfortunately, the way leading to the mark is closed off. Yes, but we're not barred, necessarily. There appears to be a time shift orb over there. I propose you utilize the nearby time shift orb to open a path to the mark. Alright. Hold up, I got some things to take care of first. Some kind of robot. Is there anything else over there? Doesn't really look like it. Alright, let's cross over, see what we can do. Yeah, eject him. See what happens. You just did that to yourself. Need that money. Okay, so what are we doing with this? Okay. Toss this over there first. Just be rid of these guys, don't have to worry about it. What is in there? I noticed that there was a hookshot thing. I don't know if that was necessarily due to the... Okay, time shift stone being there or not. I see that there are barbs there. Actually, there's barbs over here, too. If eliminating those does anything for me there. Let's have a little look. Doesn't seem to be, it's just an entry point. Here, I'm not really seeing a hell of a whole lot. We got the fan here. Last time we had a fan, we had to shoot through it, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. I don't think I could put anything in there either. There's something up there. I'll go back here real quick, see if I can see something from the far end. Actually, I probably could have just used the beetle. Oh, what the... Okay, it's a switch. What does this do? Gotcha. Okay, so we got that open. I guess we'll find out what's in there. There we go. Opens up a switch. Okay. So yeah, we still have to shoot something through here. Oh, crap. This needs to be far back enough, I guess, where it's not elevating that. Okay. That's what gets us up there. Actually, I might need to take it with me. Maybe. I guess we'll see. What's in here? Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, I do need that. Crap. Just need to work my way back around. So if that's good enough. Cool. It's partially in the past. Maybe that'll get us a bonus Triforce. Triforce of Wisdom. Naturally, Nehru. Of course, the room would be more puzzle-related. Created by the old gods, this Triforce possesses ultimate power, set to grant the wishes of whoever possesses it. Just one more piece to go. And then we are done. Maybe. Oh, shoot. Damn, the whole room reset. Oh, that's what that was. Frogs be hopping. Okay, so now we have to figure out how to get to that last room. I'm gonna need to go back a couple rooms, I think. Not even here. I think we need to go back further. Ooh, okay, there wasn't a... Shoot, okay. There wasn't a shifter in there. And I got no access to any other rooms from that point, so... It's gonna need to be this one. I wonder if I could leave and, like, reset everything. That might make it easier. Alright, so... That's the one I need to access. I still need that one to do it, though. Okay. I needed to see what that one was. Man, if I only had this order changed up. Had this one behind it, that would be perfect. Let's see. Shoot, that still leads to the forest one. Alright, fine. I don't think I have a choice. I think it needs to be this one. And then we need to move around stuff from there. It might just be easier just to go outside and then come back in, reset everything, but let's see. We'll play it from here. Okay, so I still need to get that one. Let's see what rooms this gets me to. Okay, this gets it so that the magma room's in the corner. That might work. Just before I head over there, let me see what I could do with that. Okay. Provided that everything stays the same here, if I had access to that one. Let's see. I can move that there. I can get this down. Cycle those out. Someone get that one of the main. I don't know. Too many variables. I guess I'll go check it out. I felt like someone was banging on my window. I think it's gonna be raining outside. Not necessarily my window, but I guess it sounded like there was a lot of thumping going on. Someone was doing some work outside or something. Oh no, that works. Oh wait, no it doesn't. I still need to get from the other side. I keep thinking it's the other... I keep thinking it's the other end that I need to get, but in fact it's the one on the far end. This works. Look at that. Yeah, whatever. Oh, I forgot there was a... Damn. Alright, we could have used that. I forgot that there was the changer in there, but oh well. We got something figured out anyway. Master, I have information for you. The chamber you stand in now is the same one where you previously spotted the Mark of Din. If you can find a way through the River of Magma, I calculate a 60% chance you will arrive at one of the sources of the sacred power. I recommend you press forward in search of the power present here. Yes. I will attempt to do so. Okay, that is a barred door. We are probably just in for some kind of wild ride. So, I guess let's get to it. Actually, I could probably use this. I'm going to do 2 of them. Like, it doesn't seem very promising. Give you plenty of time to notice that, I guess. Okay. Quick entry. Really? Should have been using the scatter shot for those a long time ago. Oh shoot. Damn. I guess at some point we probably want to hit that again, but no. I have to use the beetle. Where? I don't see anything. Not that. I'll get that rupee. I guess they imagine if you don't think to use the beetle at first, you'll want to use it for the rupee. Okay, what do we got going on here? shit. Come on. What was activating the battle music earlier? Make sure I get enough clearance. Okay. That's it. That's the last piece. Got the Triforce of Power created by the old gods. The Triforce possesses ultimate power and is said to grant the wish of whoever possesses it. Same as all the rest. Triforce is complete. With its power, you have the ability to make Zelda's wish of vanquishing demise a reality. Uh-oh. Okay. Finally, the statue comes back into play. Fairy? Master, I believe at this juncture that a prayer is required. The ultimate goal we have traveled so far for is now within reach. Focus now, and wish with all your might for the destruction of demise. I'll do it. I ain't gonna like it. Oh god. It's not going to destroy Skyloft, is it? Okay. Just the Goddess Statue Island went down. Ah. I was going to say, it's just gonna fall on top of demise or something. Wish fulfilled. It's a meteoric smash into it. Oh, it fits so snugly in there. Okay. I guess that makes sense as to why it had that little corkscrew shape. Fits like a glove. Oh, I broke Groos's little thing in the process. Master Link, I have news. I've confirmed that the Isle of the Goddess, which was formerly a part of Skyloft, has returned to the surface. Really? What gave you that idea? Furthermore, I have detected the successful eradication of demise. Your prayers to the Triforce have been heard. In light of these factors, the seal Zelda maintained through her age-long sleep is no longer necessary. My projections indicate she will wake momentarily. I advise you to make your way to the sealed temple as soon as possible. Somehow I don't think that's going to be the end of it. Maybe, though. I don't know. There they are. Matching hairstyles, I see. Didn't notice that. Nice. Good morning, Chrono. Link. Oh, hand in hand. Don't upset Groose now. Oh god. Figured he'd come back. This is all very touching, really, but I'm afraid I have to cut this emotional moment short. It's best for everyone if you forget about your friend. The little goddess is mine now. My master may have perished in this age, but in the past he lives yet. I'm taking the girl back through that gate to help me revive the Demon King. You've been so adorably dogged in your quest to get in my way, and as much as has delighted me, I can no longer tolerate you nipping at my heels. do it. Go stab him. You know, boy, you've really pushed me too far. The moment I sweated and bled for this is at hand. I don't even have the time to grind my heel into a worm like you. Not now. Go block the gate. I would assume it's this Demise fellow, since that's who we apparently vanquished here in the present day. But we haven't really seen Demise's true form. We've only seen the imprisoned form of him, which is weird. I'm guessing it's Ganon, but you know. Stand down. You're in my way, and the sight of your appalling hair makes my gorge rise. You can't insult a man like that. You want to talk? You've done a fine job of spoiling my plans to revive the Demon King in this age, so I see no point in dawdling here. But the past. Oh, the past. So full of possibilities. I shall resurrect him there with the divine soul of this golden-haired girl. What the hell happened to Link? He was just too tired, I guess. All that Triforce hunting. It's like he was making his way over there, and then just gave up. All right, any last words? For Zelda to be taken from us at a moment like this, it is unthinkable. Link, listen to me. You must do whatever it takes to prevent the resurrection of Demise in the past. Quickly now, open the gate of time and return to the past. Well, you gotta chase after that creep, Link. Zelda's counting on you. Alright. I mean, I would assume at this point we probably could go back, yes. I could go and get that health potion refilled if I wanted, but... maybe not. I will save here. So that if I regret my decision, then I can just go back. Probably should take that ferry. I don't know. I like keeping the ferry on hand just in case I accidentally, you know, get the shit kicked out of me. And then don't quite catch losing all my health. Because sometimes that happens. Ah, there's a little seat there too. Can regain our health if need be, but that B is not needed. Impa, are you still here? Oh, come on. Link, it's Ghirahim. He appeared out of thin air and got the drop on me. Don't worry about me, you must chase after him. Where did he go? He ran through the great doors at the front of the temple. You may yet catch him before it's too late. Hurry! Nothing happening here? Okay. What are you doing? Dancing around her. You're one weird dude, Ghirahim. Hear me, my hordes. The spell is near to complete. The Demon King returns. Until then, you will keep that whelp from interfering with my ritual. I don't care if the whole lot of you get lodged on the end of this blade. You will buy me the time I need. Do not fear him. Fear my wrath. And whatever else. Okay. Link, turn around. Get out of here. Oh god. This must be what inspired that Musou game. He's doing the Silence of the Lambs, No More Heroes Dance over Zelda. No more horses, rather. I don't even remember that, but I'll take your word for it. Oh no, I do. I know what you're talking about. It's a little bit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Proper moblins. You just got jobbed out by your own guys. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I can never remember the name of that goddamn game, but yeah, it's exactly like Hyrule Warriors. Oh, jeez. I did not see that he was charging. Oh god. Well, at least I got hit too. Take that, thank you. Okay. What the hell? Get back here. Okay. Thought maybe he was only defeatable by the finishing blow. Rally the troops, quickly run away. I think I really need you. Oh, shoot. There we go. Damn, I don't think they're gonna stop until I get the one with the horn. Arm's getting tired having to do all these goddamn Skyward strikes. Oh god. Okay, we've reached dirt. We're close to the bottom. Yeah, like raising your hand in class a little bit. The problem with, like, I could really get him with the Skyward Strike, but the problem with that is that, depending on the camera angle, it sort of shifts how you throw it. So sometimes, especially when I'm, like, having to quickly turn around, it sort of throws it at a diagonal and I can't snag him. See how it does like a diagonal like that? Or a vertical slice. I need to lock onto him. How do I just move down? Will that work too? Stalfos. Okay, yeah, and then the horn guy's back. That's a bad idea. There we go. Bastard. Got like 700 goblins, maybe. Gotta kill 700 more. God damn. You're far too quick, boy. I realize a simple child like you knows nothing of magic, but spells like this take time and steady hands. Can't you wait quietly like a good boy, You prudent brat, you've pushed me too far. I've waited my whole existence for this. This is my moment. You know what? Fine. If you're so intent on hurrying to your grave, I'll be happy to show you the way. This time there will be no heroic escape. I was a fool to toy with you and let you walk away with your life before, but I won't make that mistake again. It's gonna unleash his full power. That I promise. The Great Goblin Holocaust of 21. If only I'd put you in your place from the very beginning. Show a human a little mercy, and the next thing you know, he thinks himself your equal. Given my station, I had to maintain some semblance of dignity, so I let you run with your life. Twice, even. Such a guilty pleasure. But instead of scurrying away like any creature with a basic instinct to survive, you just kept coming back. Again and again and again. I've let a mere boy make a fool of me for the last time. You stand before a demon, or should I say a weapon, without mercy. For you, boy, I've prepared a most appropriate and humiliating death. I even have a pet name for it. I call it the Endless Plunge. First, I will take my time bludgeoning you, and I will grow bored of it. I will drive you to the edge and deliver a last strike to send you falling to your doom. I'll delight in casting your body into this pit and snuffing out the flame of your life. Your broken body will serve as a fine sustenance for the Demon King. Keep going. You already told me your master plans, so... Ah. The fatal blow. Whoa, Jesus. Okay, I can't strike multiple times when he does a little hand trick. There we go. I have to learn a new trick, Ghirahim. Yeah, you'd think if the Dark Lord needed sustenance, you could feast on the corpse of the cock goblins. No way, that wasn't it, was it? Merely a flesh wound. Ah! Oh! Old Ganondorf trick, huh? I see what you're after. Shit. I need to bring both arms up because I gotta get that shield ready a little more frequently. Got that heart. Shit. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Shit. I ruined it. Oh, they're getting faster. Gotcha. You wretched brat! He's got the cloud sword now. I guess it breaks easy. This is preposterous, driven to my knees by a simple child of a man. Laughable. No matter how many times we clash, I can't prevail. You think I can't defeat you? You think I can't win? Boy, what are you? Ah, but never mind that. Victory is still mine to savor. While we fought, the ritual I started continued. At last it's complete. The demon king shall devour the soul of the goddess and resurrect in his full glory. You could just sacrifice yourself, kind of like in Sekiro. Wait, do we gotta fight the Imprisoned again? Don't you see? It's all over. You and your kind have lost. This world and everything in it now belongs to darkness. They belong to my master. Rip Zelda, I guess. Oh, there he is. What the hell? Akuma, is that you? It's Ganon-ish. Not quite there, though. Welcome back to us, Master. Ah. Just a peon in the end. I just noticed he has the same little hairstyle that Fi does now. Maybe he is to Fi. Maybe he is rather to Demise what Fi is to Link. I guess he did say he was a weapon. And a sword came out of him, so there's that too. It all makes sense now, kind of. It's even got the Triforce. It's like the negative Master Sword. Very interesting. So, you are the chosen knight of the goddess. Intriguing. The goddess lowered herself to a mortal existence to keep me imprisoned. How pathetic. This bag of flesh pales in comparison to the magnificence of her previous form. Don't worry, Link. Bruce has got this. What the hell did he do? Okay. I guess he caught her, but something exploded. Link, I caught her. She's okay. So you and that other human would stand before obliteration to aid the goddess, would you? I think that about sums it up. How curious. The humans I've known were weak things, hardly more than insects shivering under rocks and ready to flee at a mere glimpse of me. When last I walked this world, they did little more than scream and cling to their goddess, mewling and praying, counting on her to protect them. How amusing to think those cowards begot someone like you. You grow more fascinating by the second human. I never imagined I'd meet one of your kind who wished to stand against me in battle. Very well then. I shall prepare a place for us where we will not be bothered by distractions. If you still have the courage to face me, seek me there. Alright. Link, it's all on you. Oh, and listen up, Granny had some info for you. The old girl says it'll take time for that grease wad to absorb Zelda's soul completely. If you could take him down before her soul gets all sucked up into that thing, you might still have a chance. I know you can do it. So yeah, you've got to do this. You're all Zelda's got. You've got to make this happen. I don't know if I can hear you right now. If you fear for your life, do not follow me. You can spend what little time your world has left cowering and crying as befits your kind. But if you truly desire to raise your blade against the world I would build, come for me. I've waited aeons to return. I can spare a few more moments to let you decide. Okay. Does that mean we could like go back and backtrack? It's up to you now, Link. Go back, get some more potions, refill the old health meter. I've been seeing this save statue for a while. We should hit that up. Okay. I actually, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the little deal up here. Because we can get some hearts. Or I could go sit in that stool and regain health that way. And then I'll come back. Said he didn't mind waiting. And I picked the wrong spot. Probably should have looked first. So, it's okay, we have time. Apparently. Oh god, okay, so I think this is gonna be the final battle. You'd think so, right? But yeah, it's big boy indeed. Oh look, all the heart plants are gone too. Still, it took us, you know, over 2 hours to get to this point, so it's not like we haven't been waiting for nothing. Now we get a chance to reflect. Think about things before we go in there. Even with that statue down at the bottom, we might even be able... I didn't look to see, but we might even be able to return back to the sky. Just falling asleep sitting up. Hey, Deller, that remind you of anybody? You're just talking about something very similar. Okay, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, no, okay, never mind. I guess we can't return. Oh, you know what? No, we're in the past. I wonder, we might be able to just jump through the gate of time. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but if you so desired, you could probably jump through the gate of time and then return that way, I would think. Master Link, I have important information for you. Once you enter this portal, my analysis indicates a 0% chance that you will be able to return unless you are able to vanquish your foe. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, I think so. Understood, Master Link. Know that even in the place that lies beyond this portal, I will be with you. And Master, good luck. Good luck. Don't even let me do it. Just waiting for the day he slams his forehead on the table. You never know. He's probably still going to be asleep. Hey, we're in the sky. It's like that Oblivion DLC. Ah, so you decided to meet your end in battle after all. It pleases me greatly to see such misplaced valor, human. Take a moment to appreciate your surroundings, for where we stand shall serve as your tomb for eternity. The sky? Okay. I guess there's sort of like water. The hate for the gods that has boiled in my veins. You will taste all of it in the bite of my blade. The only question left is how long you will manage to remain standing before I take your life. Try to keep it interesting for me, would you? And when you do fall, know that your world and everything in it is mine to dominate, mine to subjugate, mine to rule. When I finish with you, you can take solace in knowing your friends and kin will soon follow as I wipe out all who oppose me from the face of this world. Not a big talk, my man. It won't be long now. At last, the almighty power I've sought for millennia. I will take the Triforce for my own. And the world shall be under my foot for eternity. Okay. Let me try that. Oh, managed to get a couple hits in there. Not quick enough on those blocks. Jeez. It's like a rhythm game. Gotcha, bitch. Oh. You can do that too. Oh god. Link, Skyward Strike. Come on, man. Are we incapable of doing it? Skyward Strike, come on, man. All right. I guess do we have to wait for a lightning strike to happen? Shit. Ugh. We're too close every time it happens. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. Jesus. I'm seeing the gimmick here. It's just a matter of getting it down. Sidestep it. That's how you do it. He's going for those fatal blows. Lightning strike and everything. Oh, Jesus. Well, thanks for coming right to me. Oh, it's getting closer every time. Damn. I wonder if there's something else I'm supposed to do there. Oh, shoot. Oh, finally. Well, if that doesn't fit the definition of epic, I don't know what does. A battle of epic proportions. Jesus. Does he have another phase? It was a cool battle, yeah. Extraordinary. You stand as a paragon of your kind, human. You fight like no man or demon I've ever known, though this is not the end. My hate never perishes. It is born anew in a cycle with no end. I will rise again. Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. But why do you hate so much, Demise? Do we really have to do this again and again and again? Looking back at the past 30 years, I suppose so. I have confirmed the eradication of the Demon King. His residual consciousness has been absorbed into the Master Sword. Really? And is now sealed away. That's weird. I guess that's why we have to put it away. Just destroy the Master Sword. Why not? Hi. You've done well, Link. Why crying, Impa? It's a big tear. I actually didn't notice he had that tattoo before. Or that paint, anyway. Link. Thank you. I think it's over. Finally, it's all over. Finally! It's been a long time coming. I've enjoyed my time with all this. Nice going, you two. You guys were totally amazing at this little adventure I like to call the Legend of Groose. That's a little joke. Oh, thank you, Groose. Joke or not, your contributions to our efforts were heroic. You have my thanks. Ah, well, you know. Just glad I could make myself useful. I'm happy things turned out okay. Hey, so things look pretty sewn up here. What do you say, guys? Better head back to our own time? Granny was really worried about you two. Don't want to keep the old girl in suspense too long. Hylia, Your Grace. Or perhaps you prefer Zelda. It pleases me to know you are safe. Master, I must speak with you. Go on. Ah, perfect spot for it. Did you have this commissioned? Master Link, you have successfully protected the goddess reborn and defeated Demise, fulfilling your role as the hero of legend. My purpose here is complete. Therefore, I ask you to dissolve our arrangement as master and servant. Oh no. Drive the sword into the pedestal before you, and I will return to the sword to enter a sleep without end. You can hang out with us. Master, you have achieved the purpose you were chosen to fulfill. Please, set the sword in the pedestal and bring the goddess's mission to an end. Now, Master, it is time to conclude our necessary companionship. Got no choice. They should have had me do it, like at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3. Link. I guess our partnership is over. Link, hear me. My purpose was to obey the command of the goddess and lead you, the chosen hero of this land, on your quest. When I first awoke and began this task, I perceived it as merely serving my function as a servant to her grace. However, I have come to consider the information corresponding to our time together among the most precious data I have on record. No, she can still come out. I do not have the capability to fully understand the human spirit, Link. But now, at the end of my journey with you, as I prepare sleep within the Master Sword forever, I experience a feeling I am unable to identify. I lack sufficient data to be sure of my conclusion, but I believe this feeling correlates closest to what your people call happiness. Our partnership is at an end, and even as we speak, I feel my consciousness fading away. Oh. But I enter the sleep that calls me to the sword. I wish to relay to you the words that I recorded many times over the course of our journey. Many have said them to you thus far, but I now wish to say them for myself. Thank you, Master Link. May we meet again in another life. What? Impa, why? Come with us. No, time paradox. I had this called from the beginning. Zelda, Your Grace, You possess the memories of the goddess. You must understand why that is not possible. So Minish Cap is the second in chronological order. I don't remember Minish Cap that well. That's the one on the Game Boy Advance. Skyward Sword, I think, to date, is still the earliest, and then Minish Cap after that. But the spot for the Master Sword always looks different in every game. I don't ever think they make a point to make it look like the same spot. I am a being of this age. My place is here. She's still there. She's just really old. I know that, but... You must return to your own time. I will take care of the gate once you have passed through. I can't do that. You and I have been through so much together. I don't want to leave you alone. Please, Impa, come back with us. Zelda, at the command of the goddess, I passed through the Gate of Time. I did so to protect you and aid the fight to prevent the world's destruction. The last remnants of demise are decaying slowly within the sword. Someone must stay behind to watch over this blade. His spirit must not reawaken. He must never be allowed to threaten the world again. This is the nature of the task given to my tribe. As a member of the Sheikah, the goddess's chosen guardians, I gladly welcome this duty. Zelda, I shall watch over the Triforce. Its power is too great to leave in the grasp of a man. Dependence on its might is an invitation to disaster. I need this text to go faster if I'm going to read it fluently. When it has served its purpose, it must be secreted away to lie dormant once again. The knowledge of its existence, hidden from oral history. There are words the goddess spoke to me long ago. I remember them well, as do you, I'm sure. That is, be excellent to each other. Or were those are the preceding words? Does it really? Okay. I doubt the Gate of Time is there, but maybe the similar structure of the room. Do not despair, Zelda. You and I will surely meet again someday. I was thinking of playing the portable Zelda games. I still want to do Link Between Worlds because I actually have not played that one. But I don't remember liking the DS games all that much. Spirit Tracks and, what's it? The other one. I have played Minish Cap, but it's been a long time. But maybe it's worth a revisit at some point. I mean, a room with a sword can only go so far, but I imagine if there was any sort of planning, it probably would have been, tried to trace it back to here, maybe. I mean, A Link to the Past is just in a forest. See, I called it so long ago. None of you fools. I'm talking about Link and Zelda and Groose. They didn't notice. See? I told you we'd meet again. Oh. That's slightly awful. But okay. I mean, I get it. Impa, thank you. Thank you for everything. The old woman was Impa from the past. Yeah, the tall chick. In the cutscene there, I mean, they spell it out pretty hard, but if you missed it, in the cutscene there, Zelda gives one of her bracelets to Impa, the tall woman, in the past. And then when they come back to the present, the old woman has the bracelet on. Oh, there's the title. And there we go. Do we have the Song of the Goddess? Yeah, it's the Song of the Goddess. Wow, what a game. Wow. We clocked in at 12 streams, though I went extra long with that last one, so it could have been 13. It took about as long as Twilight Princess did, though, so that's not entirely surprising. But yeah, that was a long one. As Zelda games naturally are. I enjoyed it quite a bit, though. We went into this game. You'll never have to fly the bird again. Wow. I guess there's that aspect to it. I did say I did get used to the crap factor of flying the bird. But, I mean, we went into this basically... Whoa, like well after this game came out. When did this game come out? Like 2011, I believe. So we're about 10 years... into the future, and I had never played it before. Again, I said it various times as I've been streaming these Zelda games, but I stopped playing at Twilight Princess. I always wanted to get back and play Twilight Princess, but on the GameCube. Took me a while to get that version of it, and then I finally did it, streamed that, and played it last year for the first time. Great game. But then I said we might as well hit up the rest of them while we're doing this little shindig. I usually have a habit of streaming through game series as a whole anyway, so we started up Skyward Sword, and 10 years after the fact, it still has kind of a bad reputation. A lot of people, when I see them talk about this game, talk about, all the poor aspects of it. And I gotta say, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think the strongest aspect to it is the combat mechanics. Obviously, I've had my issues with it before in the past, like, trying to hit certain angles or certain, strikes and having it not register or doing a completely different action. So it's not 100% perfect, but I still think it's the strongest aspect and the coolest aspect of this game. I think it worked really well in the Ghirahim and the Demise boss fights in particular. Very cool boss fights, all those. And then the boss fights just in general. They each had their own little gimmick, which was mostly having to play off of the gimmick of the sword mechanics. Every once in a while, you'd have to toss in a little extra thing in there, usually trying to use one of the items that you picked up in the dungeon, as per standard Zelda fashion. But for the most part, I think all of that was really cool. I think where the motion control mechanics fell short was, as we commented on, like the flying mechanics, or a lot of the navigating that you had to do with the Wiimote. Not the greatest. You get used to it. Sometimes there are aspects of it that you don't understand fully, and it's not kind of clear cut when it's initially given to you. So you have to sort of play around with it and kind of get a feel for it. Eventually you get it, I think. It just takes some time. And the learning curve is more intense, let's say. It's a steeper learning curve than if you had to, play these same mechanics on a controller, where it's much more intuitive. So it's just like having to relearn how to do things. I would have preferred it if they gave you the option. I was just playing something on the Wii U. I don't remember what it was. But like, they give you the option. Oh, I was testing Breath of the Wild. I was testing that, and there's like a point where you're looking through the tablet or whatever, and you can use the gyro, but you can also use the analog sticks. So I guess they learned from Skyward Sword, but it would have been much more preferable if you had the option to use the nunchuck with the analog stick to navigate, but you also had the option to use the Wiimote. Like, you could use either one in tandem. Like, whichever one you chose to use, that's the one that would register within the game. It would have been much, much, much more preferable to have something like that on hand. But they really wanted to force those motion controls, and while I think for the most part it wasn't very intrusive, it had its moments here and there where it just I wasn't feeling it. So that's kind of how it goes. But for the most part, yeah, I don't think it was that bad. I'm a little disappointed by the fact that we just mostly reuse the same areas. There's 3 ground locations in the game. You've got the Elden Province, you've got Nehru, and you've got the Faron Woods. The fact that we had to keep traveling back to those locations is a little disappointing. I would have rather seen like fresh locations. And granted, the maps expanded to the point where, we'd have sort of new areas, but it was still very familiar. So, and some of them were a little bit more different, and that was satisfactory. But some of them we reuse the same locations. Like, remember when we had to go through the first dungeon again, and I was so disappointed by that? It was shorter, but still, I would have rather not go through the first dungeon all over again. And then same thing with like getting the tick tones, the tad tones, just having to shuffle through the map just with water in the area. Nah. Maybe let's try something a little different. But it's like Twilight Princess didn't have that problem. It seemed like it was pretty varied for the most part. And I don't know what the hell Breath of the Wild's going to be like, but I guess we'll find out soon. Oh yeah, look, I was right. 2011. So, give or take a few months, we're pretty much a decade out from when this game initially released. And it is now complete. I've completed it for the first time, 10 years after the fact. Next time, don't make your GameCube releases so limited, Nintendo. Well, there you go. Just a couple other notes. Things I didn't like. The item descriptions were the biggest pain in the ass. Good lord. Not a fan of that. Oh, hey. We get a little epilogue scene. I would recommend picking it back up if you didn't finish it. It's fun. You just got to get used to some of the control aspects, but it's not even that bad. Most of the combat, like I said, is the best part. Look around us. As a child, I always dreamed of a world below. I wanted to see the surface with my own eyes and feel the land's warm breeze on my skin. I'll put the Wiimote down. I think I want to live here. I always want to feel solid ground beneath my feet. See the clouds above my head. Watch over the Triforce. What about you, Link? What will you do now? I guess I didn't quite realize, but yeah, they're all on the ground now. The end. I don't think I've seen that in a video game in a hell of a long time. A definitive, conclusive end. Oh boy. Well, there you have it. There's Skyward Sword. Yeah, just a couple of the nitpicks. Like I said, is just the item descriptions. Every time you pick up an item, when you start the game up again, after having the console off, it has to tell you what the item is. Can't skip the dialogue. Gotta watch it be put into the inventory. Pain in the ass. And then your progress up to this point will be deleted. Are you sure you want to play hero mode? Oh, well, maybe not. I don't know. Fine, whatever. Yeah, sure. If I can't save it anywhere else. A lot of people had problems with Fi. I could see where the problems come from. I thought it was kind of funny, but she is somewhat irritating in most regards. You know, telling you the most basic of information that anyone with eyes would be able to, you know, assume. But for the most part, she was fine. It wasn't that bad. Just getting through dialogue sometimes was a little bit of a chore. What was the other thing? I don't know if I had any other nitpicks about this game in particular, but I could say for one thing, I definitely love the soundtrack. Beautiful soundtrack with the actual live orchestra. For the most part, I think there was a couple parts where we had like a synth orchestra in there for some of the boss battles, but it really added. Unfortunately, not as catchy tunes as previous Zelda games, and that's mostly, I think, probably, I don't know for sure, but I would assume that Koji Kondo probably didn't compose the soundtrack. So while it was very well executed music and it sounded great when backed against certain, you know, boss battles or scenes or things like that, it wasn't the most memorable. So there is that kind of aspect to it where it would, had it been in the hands of a composer like Koji Kondo, it could have been that much more. But overall, the soundtrack was great. And I just love the characterizations. This is probably one of the best iterations of Zelda. I love the side characters. Like even, you know, Groose, obviously. But even like some of the, like the townsfolk, you just get a sense of their personality a lot more than you do with a lot of the characters that are in previous Zelda games where they're just kind of there. They're there to fill the void. But this might be one of the best Zelda games in terms of actual characterizations. Doesn't happen much. Handful of games, Wind Waker, you know, bits and pieces of Majora, and that might be it, considering what I played. Midna in Twilight Princess. I don't know about anything else. Nothing else really comes to mind. There's been a couple instances where Zelda's had a little more personality to her, but this might be one of the best examples, I guess I should say. So it really is through and through just a really good Zelda game. So I would recommend it if people like Zelda. The motion controls, you get used to them. Like I said, most of them aren't even that bad right off the bat. So nut up, grow a pair. If you don't like the motion controls, basically. That's all I gotta say about that. But really enjoyed my time with it. Kind of glad it's over. We're running kind of long with this one, but that's fine. It had a really satisfying conclusion, though. I thought this last stream was great. I love those last two boss battles and everything, and like the waves of bokoblins and everything. All right, thank you. We're gonna conclude it here. It has been a 3-hour stream, despite it not really feeling like it, but that's gonna be the end for tonight. I might be back tomorrow. I think I'm probably gonna hit up Terminator since I did 2 of these in a row. But next week, like I said, I do have Breath of the Wild in, and I feel like we should kind of conclude it. We can make it its own little trilogy or something before I go back and play the older Zelda games. But I will be starting Breath of the Wild next week. I don't know what day I want to start it. I might even want to feel like playing Terminator a couple times in a row to see if I can finish that, if it even takes that long. But we'll find out. I think it'll be interesting. But yeah, it was a good game, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it as always. Let's see. Is anybody on? I saw a couple people on, but it's been like 3 hours too. So, okay. Nah, they're all off. All right. We'll just host some Bob Ross or something. You guys take care. Have a good night. And maybe we'll see you next time. Until then.